Okay, listeners, so there are a few things you probably know about me. One is that I'm on the road a lot. Two is that I walk a lot. I love to walk. And also that I live in New Hampshire. And the weather here is pretty unpredictable, doesn't matter the season, and it's wet a lot. So there are these great new shoes that I have been so lucky to be able to wear. They are from Vessi, and they are called the Courtside Classic. That's me. So I love the way that these look. I love that they're waterproof. They're super comfortable, which every Vessi shoe that I've had has been incredibly comfortable. So if you are interested in getting an incredibly stylish and versatile and absolutely functional pair of sneakers, the Courtside Classic, these are the ones you want to go with. Head out in the rain with the Courtside Classic, Vessi's 90s inspired sneakers. Discover more waterproof styles at vessi.com/flusterclux. Get your pair today to get an automatic 15% off your first purchase at checkout. Let your kids adjust. Let you adjust to this new school year. Let them figure out some things on their own. Don't go in hot and solve every problem and think that you need to talk to every person. Let them adjust before you start to step in, before you get anxious, before you panic. All of that is super contagious. When you get uptight, they're going to get uptight. When you see a problem, they're going to see a problem. Slow your roll, take your time, talk to the people you need to talk to, but just check your own worry and your own urgency at the door during the first few weeks of school, even the first few months of school.
Welcome to Season 7 of Flusterclux with Lynn Lyons, where we'll talk about managing anxiety and all the other emotions too. We tackle the serious stuff without being too serious. I'm your co-host, Robin. I'm Lynn's sister-in-law, and I'm here to ask your questions.
And I'm Lynn Lyons. I'm an anxiety expert, speaker, mom, and author. I've been a therapist for 35 years. Parenting can be a Flusterclux, and I'm here to help you find your way. I'll tell you what to do and what to say. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Lynn.
As we're recording this, school has started in a lot of places and still sort of in the adjustment period of the new school year. For a lot of kids, they've had their first day of school. You've gotten through the first day of school outfit. You've picked out your backpack. Oh, okay, wait a second. I just have to talk about something. So I got a suggestion for a Facebook group on my Facebook page. And I think it probably has to do with something that you sent me that then I looked at. And we don't have to go into a lot of detail about this.
Dorm room mamas.
Oh my God. So I was just like beside myself. This is a thing, I guess.
Yeah, very much, but outside of your world with your two low maintenance boys.
But also, I don't think it's a New England thing. Can I say, I think it seemed to me that it was more like, and you tell me, because you're the Southern girl in this duo, is it a Southern university thing?
I don't think so. I think California and many other places are doing it. So no, but I'm a Southern gal and I was raised by an interior designer.
Okay.
So I will just say that Southern culture embraces making everything fun and lovely if you can.
Okay. All right. Those are very generous adjectives that you're using, fun and lovely, because when I saw these dorm rooms.
Yes, there could be. I know. I mean, trust me, I look at that and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. And apparently now you get a neon sign in your daughter's name. So if their name is like Amy or Kaylee, and there was one picture of these two very lovely young women who are apparently best friends and are now roommates in college. And so their dorm room is all coordinated and they were sitting there in matching pajamas. Like, I think that's too much. I just do. But okay. All right. So now Facebook is convinced that I'm a dorm room mama. And it is
which really, really pleases me. I screwed up your algorithm forever.
Yeah. Like every time I get on Facebook, it's like, hey, dorm room mama. And I'm like, I am the opposite. As I have said with great pride, one of my sons, when we went to get his college supplies, the bill at Bed Bath & Beyond was $26.84 total. I have you to thank for this, apparently. You know, like you're an old person, you think you know how the world works, and then suddenly you're confronted with dorm room mamas, and it's like I'm in a whole new world.
So Facebook has those suggestion options where you can say that you find that group suggestion offensive.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to be that contrarian, but I think maybe in order to get these people to back off, I'm going to have to say, I don't find it offensive. Like I was really like, I had no idea. And then every once in a while, of course, I have to look at it, which only increases the likelihood that I'll get more. But every once in a while, somebody would post a thing of their dropping off their boy student at college. And I was like, okay, that I can relate to. Oh my, like lighting and furniture and temporary wallpaper and neon lights. It was something.
Yeah, no, I see that. I have to say that, my mom passed, but I do have to say that if my mom saw that, she would think it was overkill. I mean, and granted, she showed up 2 weeks after my school because I drove myself to school, but she showed up 2 weeks later and then we still decorated my dorm a little bit. It was just nothing like that. And if she saw that's what the other girls were doing, but they weren't back in the 90s, I think she'd say, is that really what you want? Certain people get joy from doing it. And then certain moms, as we've discussed, have perfectionism issues that drive it too. And it's both. So there's like a toxic drive, and then there's like a more fun drive. Because if you have those skills and you can just wave your hand and do it, I get it. And I admire it.
Yeah. It seemed like it was a bit of a competition. Don't you think?
Yes.
Like it could turn into a competition. Like it looked like, you know how I've talked about the humble bragging posts, sort of like, look what I did. That's what it was kind of.
This is what it's just not my nature that I would have ever wanted to match everything. Because also but like, then what if like a month in, you're like, I can't live with this girl. And then you take half your matching room somewhere else. I don't know. That's also kind of weird too.
Okay. So there should be, if there's a Facebook group called Dorm Room Mama Second Semester, I'm in. Because that's what everything, right? Like on day one, everything looks great. I want to check in after winter break. So I'm all in for that.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of joy and delight, which are lovely words to talk about, we are going to talk today about making sure that as the school year starts, and as many of you it started, there are certain parts of the country that started weeks ago. There are certain parts that are starting after Labor Day. That's far less common now than it used to be. But nonetheless, how do we make sure as the school year starts, we give our kids doses of joy and delight? Because this is a really stressful time for parents. There's this summer, and the way that our calendar is set up, it's sort of like, yay, it's the summer. And then boom, everybody gets back into that mode. I want you to take some of the summer into the fall and into the winter and into the spring, and make sure that you are modeling for your kids, that you are giving your kids the opportunity to experience joy and delight even as the school year starts, because it seems to just disappear and everybody just gets freaked out. And I don't want that to happen.
One thing that, as you say, that sort of resonates with me, I think we talked about it too. Like if you're a working family, the summer's never really, unless you take a ton of time off, the summer's never the chill version that you want it to be. It's just like you're doing everything you always do, but you're sweating.
Yeah. And there are some great posts by moms going on vacation, and they're like, yay, I get to do everything I do at home in an unfamiliar house with more resentment.
Yeah. Resentment travels for free.
It does. Yeah.
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh meals can easily be customized to fit your family's tastes. With protein and veggie swap options, you and the kids can choose just the right combos for each week's deliveries. And HelloFresh's easy-to-follow recipes include pre-portioned ingredients delivered fresh, so no last-minute grocery store run required. Just choose your delivery day, open your box, and get cooking. I have to say, we are HelloFresh users, eaters, cookers, whatever. We've been using it for months, and it is such a game changer in our family. If your kids are old enough, make them prepare dinner. It was the greatest parenting hack of my life to discover that you could make your kids cook if they're hungry enough. Thank you, HelloFresh, for making them really good cooks today. For a limited time, kids eat free. Go to HelloFresh.com/FlustercluxKids to unlock this exclusive offer. One free kids meal per box for 2 months while subscriptions are active. That's free kids meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/FlustercluxKids. It's America's #1 meal kit. Being an adult has its high points, like you can eat ice cream for dinner anytime you want, and you get to pick out what you want to wear. But it's not all fun because you have to wash those clothes and iron them too. You also have to do your taxes and figure out what's for dinner every night and make doctor's appointments. And for that one, there's ZocDoc, the healthcare app that makes adulting much easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors. Choose the right one for your needs and click to instantly book an appointment. And we're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty. From mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, where they're located, and who are a good fit for any medical need that you may have, and who are highly rated by verified patients. You can also see their actual appointment openings. Choose a time that works for you and click to instantly book a visit. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score same-day appointments. Raising a family means that there are always medical emergencies of all scale. I love that ZocDoc is a reliable way for me to get the healthcare appointments that I need for my family. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Fluster to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Fluster, ZocDoc.com/Fluster.
What's Lumen? Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. How cool is that? And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs. It gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, your workouts, your sleep, and even your stress management. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism. Whether you're burning mostly carbs or fats, then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for the day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Your metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body turns food into fuel, and it's how you keep going. Lumen gives you recommendations to improve your metabolic health. It can track your cycle as well as the onset of menopause and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy throughout hormonal shifts so you can keep up your energy and stave off cravings. How cool is that? This is just information that helps you know what's going on inside of you in a way that is helpful, specific, and such a good resource for you. If you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/Fluster to get 15% off your Lumen. That's LUMEN.me/Fluster for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. Okay, we're back.
So I do think that one of the things that I like kind of incorporating is, was there something that you really wanted to do this summer that you didn't? An outing to a local place in your region that there's still time to bring that moment of now and let's enjoy this beautiful weather. You don't have to stop that.
Yeah. And I think as you say this, like this summer, we give ourselves permission to go on outings and do things. And then I also think that happens during the holidays. That's the time where people are like, oh, we can do this during the holidays. And we all know how I feel about the holidays. We've got this period now between September and November, which is a beautiful time in New England. I mean, fall is just amazing in New England. I love that idea of what are we going to do? Like there's a amusement park nearby here called Canopy Lake Park. For those of you listening who are local, you know what I'm talking about. It's sort of like this old-timey amusement park. Have you ever been to Canopy Lake Park, Robin?
My kids have, with other school groups or camp groups and things.
It's just this really cool place. Stephen King actually used it as a setting for one of his novels. You think, okay, so that's a summer activity. Well, it can also be a fall activity. They stay open. They have this Halloween Scream Fest, which, whatever. But you can also just go, you can go and do things and give your kids the message that just because school started, it doesn't mean that now we are going to be funless. It doesn't mean that we are going to be delightless. Going out for ice cream after dinner, going to that amusement park, going to
the lake or the ocean near you.
Right. Certainly making sure that you yourself as a parent don't have this finite, like, well, summer's over, fun's over.
Well, not only that, if you think about it, most places in the U.S., unless we're talking about a water activity, this is right up your alley, Lynn. So it's too hot to really do much else unless you're wet, unless you're in a lake or in a pool in most parts of the country these days. Now is the time to go and climb. You are a hiker.
I am a hiker. I like going up big mountains. I live an hour from big mountains.
I think that we should, in our Facebook group, have a hiking check-in where all the families have to, between now and what date would you say? November 1st?
Yeah, November 1st.
Let's all show up and share the mountain or the trail that we hiked with our families by November 1st. I will create the post.
Okay, I think that's a fabulous idea. And you don't have to hike a mountain and you don't have to go on a...
Yeah, you do. But I like little hills.
Yeah, little hills are great.
Cobbles.
Cobbles are awesome. Yeah. And the thing about this too, and let me just say, is that if you are going on a hike with your little kids, you know, your 6-year-old, your 10-year-old, your 12-year-old, make sure that there's something that will get them to the end. And usually it has to do with some kind of treat. I had this friend, Cassandra, and she used to take her kids on hikes up mountains, and she would go up ahead of them, and she would get, you know, those gold coins, chocolate coins that are in gold, and she would sprinkle them at the top of the mountain. And her little kids thought that there was some sort of mountain fairy that used to sprinkle these gold coins. And it was a way to make it sort of fun and exciting. Because kids, lots of times, they whine, they complain, they get tired. So you've got to make it fun and do something that's a little unique or a little delightful to get them to do it. Once they get going, oftentimes they're good. So have some sort of little fun ritual or delight that you're doing on your hike. It works very, very well.
I feel like that was a season 1 tip that you brought up. So it's a while ago. But here's what I love about that, especially if you have younger kids and you'd like to make this kind of fall hike more of a ritual and you haven't done it yet, you are really wiring them to love hiking. And your boys love hiking too, as a family. The other thing, when you hike, you often talk about some of the families you encounter on your trails.
Yes, I do. Well, however you can make it a game. I mean, I've talked about that guy that just was the safety chatter king, right? The whole time he was like, be careful. Oh, watch out. Oh, don't step there. Oh. Right. And my son looked at me and like, oh my gosh. I mean, you meet people, you can make it a game where how many dogs do you see? So you can count dogs. All sorts of stories. When my boys actually went to their little Nirvana Fairy School from 1st to 3rd grade, which is this amazing place, as 3rd graders, they did a hike up to this place called Lonesome Lake, which isn't a very long hike, but it's got one of the AMC huts. It's a lake up in the mountains. It's gorgeous. Their teachers, Bill and Judy, had this amazing ritual that when you entered 3rd grade, you hiked up to Lonesome Lake. They would spend the night. But they did things like halfway up, they all had a bandana. And halfway up, they got to the magic stream that had energy. And they would take their bandana and they would put it in the water in the stream and then tie it around their neck. And it would refresh them and make them feel like they had the energy for the hike. These kids talked about this. The moment that you entered the school in 1st grade, you knew this was coming in 3rd grade. All of these things that we can do, I just want us to not lose track of how much play and delight and activity really helps make the beginning of the school year feel different than what can be sort of like, oh, we're back into the stress of the school year. I just want to make sure that you're dipping your little parenting bandana in the magic stream and wrapping it around your neck so that you can have enjoyment and you can really give your kids a great model for fun and delight and playfulness, because it's so important.
A lot of parents now, one of them works from home. Sometimes both of them work from home. And then, of course, some people still go places to work. I also think if it's within your work possibility to, once the kids go back to school, if you take a day off and you are in your home alone, I think that's one of the best ways to restore a parent's energy. That is the wet handkerchief from the stream of energy. Because I think that in the summertime, everybody's around, et cetera. And I think that sometimes we just need a little bit of alone time. I give you permission to play hooky for a day.
Yeah. Well, as you're saying that, that's interesting, because as I was thinking about, well, what are the other things that we can do that are really sort of delightful? And one of my beefs, of which I have many, as you know, I'm a happy, optimistic person who's irritated a lot, is this whole idea of needing a mental health day. This has become the language that we've used. And I say all the time, like, not everything is a mental health issue. At the beginning of the school year, maybe a parent plays hooky and has a day alone. Awesome. But you can also pick a day at the beginning of the school year in which you pick your kids up at school at lunchtime and you go and do something during the week during school. One of the things that brings us delight, one of the things that kids love and that adults love is novelty. This isn't going to work for all families. Do what you can. But if you say to your kids, look, on Wednesday, I'm going to pick you up at 11:30. We're going to go out to lunch and we're going to go for a hike because it's going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to send a note into your school. I am taking you out of school for a little beginning of school delight. I mean, it's okay to do those things. If they're a teenager, they may be like, oh my God, Mom, please don't. But if you've got a first grader, a third grader, a fifth grader, a seventh grader, you are showing them that the way that we experience joy and delight in life is to do these things that are not expected, that are a little bit different than usual, breaking out of that routine, particularly when everybody's usually pretty tired during those first days of school because we're finding our way back into the school routine, can be a really nice, fun opportunity for you to enjoy your kids and enjoy your family.
Yes. I like what you said about not everything being the mental health day. I think that language is so important. So say you are someone who, as a parent, you use the phrase like, I'm taking a mental health day. That is not as positive as I'm going to play hooky and I'm going to enjoy my home to myself and be unbothered by colleagues, family, whatever. Putting it in the positive frame of mind.
Yeah. Like, so I was talking to you and you said like, oh, Lynn, I'm taking a mental health day. I would immediately say like, oh my gosh, Robin, what's wrong? Like there must be something wrong. You're exhausted. You're stressed out. There must be something wrong. But if you said to me, hey, I'm taking a day of delight, I'd be like, you go, girl, right?
Now I'm just thinking of the song Afternoon Delight.
Oh, God. Oh, well, I told you we used to sing that song when we were little, having no idea what it was about.
Well, it's funny you say that because it was the first song on the radio. I'm younger than you, so I was very young when that song was on the radio. But it was the first pop song that I kind of caught hold of and heard and internalized and sang back. And my grandmother took me to this little candy place where they just, you know, those jellied fruit slices, like in this, like a lemon or a lime or an orange. So that was the song. I was like, can we have our afternoon delight? Can we go and get those little jellies? I would ask all the time. I was like 25 when I heard the song. I was like, oh.
Same. Yeah. We used to sing it out loud. We used to walk around thinking, are you working up an appetite? You're working up an appetite for those little fruit slices, but that's not what the song was about. I know. I wonder what it is about that song that just got little kids' attention too, because I could sing every word. We loved that song.
I just saw Reese Witherspoon post something that I loved.
Yeah.
she was repeating what Steve Gutenberg had posted. So I don't know if anyone else follows Reese Witherspoon. They'll know the story I'm about to tell. But she was giving credit because Steve Gutenberg, the actor in Police Academy and 3 Men and a Baby for the young folks out there. So Reese Witherspoon loved that he said this. And I loved it too, because I've actually been using it since. Replace the phrase have to with get to.
Yeah. I see that a lot of exercise influencers post that as well. So, I have to go work out instead of say, I get to work out. I love that too. It just changes the whole dynamic of what you are doing.
So it made me think of like, I have to have a mental health day.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I get to have a hooky day with afternoon delight. However you define it.
Yeah. She means orange slices. The thing about that is that it's proactive, right? So if we're talking about prevention, and that's why I wanted to talk about this as the school year begins, because doing something fun with your kids now, or taking a hooky day for yourself now, means that you're being proactive rather than waiting for when you're exhausted, waiting for when everybody's run down. It's just a good way to think about, how do we show our kids, how do we keep our energy up? How do we let them know that it's okay to just step out of things without it being put in the frame of, I'm so exhausted, I'm so stressed out, I have to take a day off. I mean, I often tell this story that when I was working, my first job out of graduate school was in inpatient psychiatry. And it was a tough job. I was working on an inpatient unit. I was doing the family therapy. I was 24 years old. I didn't know my ass from my elbow. It was a tough job. And I had this wonderful supervisor, Tony, also a social worker like me. And I told her that as I was picking out my clothes for the next day, I was thinking to myself, because the flu was going around the unit, I thought to myself, if only I could get the flu. So I went to work that day and we were talking and I said, oh my God, Tony, I was fantasizing about getting the flu. And she said to me, you need to take a day off. You get tomorrow off because you don't need to get the flu to let me know that you need to go do something to recharge your batteries. I mean, how fabulous is that? And I just always remember that. How do we stay ahead of it rather than being reactive to our exhaustion, to our burnout, to our illness, to our annoyance with our kids? It's just a different way of thinking about moving through, particularly the beginning of the school year. So I love hiking. I spend as much time as I can going up and down mountains in New Hampshire. And I'll tell you, staying hydrated is one of the key things that you need to think about. And I love Liquid IV. My favorite flavor, it's the blackberry. I love it. I bring it with me hiking. I also bring it in my water bottle when I go to the gym. There's also the hydration multiplier plus energy, which delivers energy comparable to 1 to 2 cups of coffee through about 100 milligrams of naturally occurring caffeine. You can get a delicious hydrating beverage with Liquid IV. This all-in-one formula provides mind and body energy. Tear, pour, live more. You take 1 stick and 16 ounces of water. It hydrates better than water alone. It's 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, and it is always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So take on the great outdoors or just take on your busy life. Get Liquid IV 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code FLUSTER at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code FLUSTER at liquidiv.com.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. A new school year is starting, and personally, I can't believe I have an 8th grader on my hands. If you're a parent, you want to make this new school year an opportunity for your kids to learn important life skills and to continue building independence. For that, we recommend Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app for families where kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely, and parents can keep an eye on the kids' new money habits. With a chores feature that lets you reward kids for honoring their responsibilities around the house, you can help kids get into their fall routine more easily than ever. Then there's the Greenlight Infinity Plan, which includes the same access to financial literacy education that makes Greenlight a valuable resource for millions of parents and kids, plus several built-in safety features to give you peace of mind. No matter which features make most sense for your household, Greenlight is the easy, convenient way for parents to raise financially smart kids and for families to navigate life together. Sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/fluster. That's greenlight.com/fluster to try Greenlight for free. greenlight.com/fluster. If you're a new parent, a bad day means you either ran out of coffee, diapers, patience, or all of the above. Stocking up on cold brew and deep breaths are all on you, but at least Hello Bello's got your baby's butt covered. Hello Bello believes all families deserve premium, affordable baby products. With their ultra-convenient diaper bundle subscription service that includes 7 packs of diapers and 4 packs of plant-based wipes, you'll never run out of supplies. And better yet, they're delivered to your door. So set, change, and cancel your delivery schedule whenever you want. You know what my favorite words are when I was a young parent? Autopilot. Anything that could be autopilot that did not require my tired, sleep-deprived brain was a winner for me. And I love that Hello Bello's diaper subscription gives you all of the product that you need to have, and you don't even have to think about it. New York Magazine named Hello Bello the best diaper subscription, and it's a winner of the 2022 Good Housekeeping Parenting Award. Hello Bello will keep you well stocked on diapers and wipes. Go to hellobello.com/fluster to get 30% off your first customized bundle and a full-sized freebie product of your choice. That's hellobello.com/fluster to start bundling with 30% off your first order. Don't forget, that's hellobello.com/fluster.
Okay, so now back to the show.
Well, if you have a fun hike this September with your family and you have a kid who gets anxious about the beginning of a new school year, isn't it helpful? One of your puzzle pieces is to remind of past successes, but it's also about, oh, September's coming and it's back to school that makes you very anxious. September's coming, so it's going to be great weather for another family hike. I wonder if there will be more treasure left on a hilltop this season.
It's all just a big metaphor, people. Hiking, it's just a big metaphor. You get to the hike at the beginning. You don't know how long it's going to be. I mean, I do this sometimes. I hike big mountains, and I love after I hike the mountain, I turn around and I look at the peak and I think, my feet took me there. That is pretty amazing. My 2 feet took me to that place that I see up there. It's just a really good way of introducing to kids the idea that at the beginning, you might feel a little groggy. You might not know what's going to happen. You're not sure what you're going to discover along the way. And I always talk about the feeling of finished, the feeling of accomplishment that you have when you actually complete something and you had fun along the way. It's just a great experience.
You were talking about taking kids out for lunch and a hike. If they were younger, every family could be different, of course. But I think the way for a teenager to delight them with disruption of a routine on Sunday night when they're likely home at like 10 o'clock, go out to a convenience store and let them get a snack, let them get an ice cream or something that's open, on a Sunday night. That's not something that we would typically do.
Right. That Sunday night feeling, the Sunday nights, because we're so ingrained into this weekend, 5 days of work, 5 days of school. So that's a great idea that you make Sunday night different in some way. Yeah, I love that. You surprise them with something that disrupts the, it's Sunday night. It's sort of like that Ferris Bueller. If you don't, what does he say?
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop to take a look around once in a while, you could miss it. I think it's really about being Ferris Bueller once in a while. Every family needs to have a Ferris Bueller day. And I think that May is a good time to do one, but I think September is another good time to do one.
Yeah. Well, because I think it's unexpected. I think we don't expect to do it in September.
Well, one of the things you said at the beginning of our recording is you said, I want to do this episode because I think families take this time of year too seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a time where there's a lot of expectations that you're going to start the school year. So because I'm in the business that I'm in, of course, this is when families are worried about how their kids are going to adjust. They're anxious about whether or not they're going to be able to make friends. If your child had difficulty last year and you're hoping that this year will be different, maybe it wasn't a good match with the teacher. Maybe they're changing schools. And there are a lot of meetings right now that parents are having with schools talking about what are the learning needs for my child. And it's just a time in which I think parents can feel as if they're supposed to take things very seriously and be very worried. I think that if we can disrupt that a little bit, and if we can normalize it a little bit, I think it'll serve ourselves and our children very well. The other thing, too, that happens at this time of school year is that if we have high expectations, so say last year did go kind of lousy or your child had a difficulty or whatever, that within the first week, parents start to panic that things aren't going well. So they start saying like, oh no, here we go again. Beginning of last school year, I remember I did a post on this on Instagram. Just take some time. Don't go in hot to the school. Don't start firing off the emails. When your child comes home, remember, at the beginning of the school year, they're tired. They just got through their first few days of school. They're going to be a little crankier. They're going to be a little more sensitive. So when they come home, just as we did in the few episodes again, how to not interrogate your kid. If your child is complaining about something, if they're having difficulty with something, just take your time. Just slow your roll a little bit. Because this is when parents feel like, oh, I've got to get everything in place right now or the school year is going to be terrible. Let your kids adjust. Let you adjust to this new school year. Let them figure out some things on their own. Don't go in hot and solve every problem and think that you need to talk to every person. Let them adjust before you start to step in, before you get anxious, before you panic. All of that is super contagious. When you get uptight, they're going to get uptight. When you see a problem, they're going to see a problem. Slow your roll, take your time, talk to the people you need to talk to, but just check your own worry and your own urgency at the door during the first few weeks of school, even the first few months of school.
Take a day of delight off.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. And if you found this podcast helpful, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find this information.
And if you'd like to dig deeper on any of these topics, we have specialized playlists on our Spotify profile, and the link is in the show notes. Topics like teens, depression, and OCD. Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Robin.
Are you a parent in need of a laugh and a little escape? Look no further. Parenting is a Joke is the podcast you've been waiting for. Hey, I'm Ophira Eisenberg. I'm a stand-up comic and parent. And each week I chat with one of my top comedian pals who, just like you, are juggling careers, busy lives and schedules, and raising a family. You can expect candid stories, hilarious mishaps that happen on stage and at home, and just a lot of laughs. There's no expert advice here. Well, actually, sometimes a good idea does sneak its way in, but mostly just pure, relatable fun to remind you that we're all in this parenting adventure together. New episodes of Parenting is a Joke drop every Tuesday, so tune in, get ready to laugh, unwind, and maybe even feel a little bit better about your own parenting. Because sometimes that's exactly what your therapist, pediatrician, and bartender ordered. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform.